Welcome. I'm Bill Berthel, and this is the Get Emergent Podcast. Our team at Emergent has worked with leaders from all different industries at all different levels. And if there's one thing we've learned in the 20 plus years of our business, is that leadership is a continued conversation. We're glad you're here. Hey, Ralph, thanks for this time. I know we're going to have fun with this conversation.
You're thanking me maybe a little early.
No, because I set you up. I set you up because I think we're both a little edgy on this topic of commitment. I've been using the term kind of, what's our culture of commitment? So I want to have that conversation with you today because I think we're both a little frustrated.
Little might be understating it for me, but
all right. Yeah, so this frustration around what feels like a lack of commitment in many different ways. We're not just sitting here complaining about people missing their appointments or not picking up phone calls, as we've talked about in previous podcasts. But what is it for you? There's this erosion of commitment.
So the one word that comes up, and I know it's going to sound a little but I think people are flaky.
They're flaky.
I mean, this is my, commit to something for God's sake. And I don't actually even care how well you do it. Just be all in. Commit. And, I've noticed this. And one of the places I've noticed it is RSVPs.
Yeah.
It's like people are waiting for a better offer or something.
I think they are. I think they sometimes are actually.
And maybe that's okay. But what happened to the day you get something, you say, yeah, I'm going, I'm in, and you show up. And I think, people are partially there, really not. I think this comes back to being present. So this, building this culture of commitment. And I do think it starts with being stronger with commitments to yourself.
Yeah.
What are the few vital things, the things that matter most that you're all in on?
Yes.
So if I make a commitment to go to lunch with you, for instance, I'm in unless a personal emergency comes up.
There are very few reasons you'd miss it.
Yeah, because I've already made that commitment to you. I'm thinking about what's the intention.
Yeah.
Right. What are we going to cover? And I was on my way to a lunch recently, and I get the call that, I'm a little too jammed up today, can't make it. What the hell does that mean? A little too jammed up. If you told me you got a call from your kid's school and they had an accident, I got it.
Oh.
You're a little jammed up? Okay. What does that mean, right? And even the language. The language is non-committal. It's general. It's, that I've been doing weekly planning. Yeah. And then I have a daily plan. I've been doing it for 30 years.
Yeah.
And maybe I need to let some people catch up. But what does success looks like? What's the plan?
For the day or for the week?
What matters most?
Yeah.
And then how are you going to use your energy during that 7-day week?
Yeah.
Based on those things.
Yes.
And so these commitments, I treat, and people bristle at this, all commitments with the same level of intensity.
So that's interesting. I don't think most people would do that. They would start categorizing somehow.
I probably told you the story. I had committed. I was going to have a kid who was going to cut my lawn, and this was I taught my wife a clinic in commitment that day, Saturday. The kid, he's going to meet me at 2:00, and at 1:00 she says, "Let's take a ride out to the Finger Lakes." I said, "Great idea. We need to wait till 2:30." She goes, "I'm ready now." I said, "I got a commitment with the kid down the street who's going to come and talk about cutting our lawn."
Yeah, yes.
And she goes, "Well, it's not a business deal." I said, "It is a commitment just like a business."
Yeah.
I got this kid interested. He's going to come up. You know how particular I am. This is going to be a half-hour conversation to give him a chance to see if he is committed to the job. Yeah. And she goes, "You're not going to change that, are you?" I said, "Absolutely not. Yeah. I am not going to change it up on that kid."
Right. Right.
And it reminds me, this is a story. So I know you're not a big sports guy, but you know the Yankees.
Oh, yeah, sure.
You probably know the name Joe DiMaggio.
Sure, of course.
Who's a famous, Hall of Famer outfielder.
Yeah.
And DiMaggio was asked one day, how come he plays so hard day in and day out? He has this commitment to just playing at his best. He said, because each time I play, It's the first time some 7-year-old boy or girl will be seen.
Oh, wow. So he saw that public model. He wanted to be that more public model. So he'd bring his best game every day, every time.
And that's commitment. And I think that we need to bring that to every commitment we make in our calendar. We want to bring our better self to those conversations. And part of that is sticking to it, preparing for it, and showing up. Don't give me this BS that, my support assistant made it or my wife made it. Own your calendar. Own it. Own your energy. Own the things that you commit to and then follow through with them.
There's better than gold in there. There's platinum in there, Ralph. Hang out for a second. How do I say no to my friend when I'm not really into it? How do I say no to my business partner when I'm not really into it? Because I think there is a obligation that's weaker than a desire.
Yes.
So how do I?
I think it's uncomfortable.
Yeah.
And so I think you lead with that. Like, I appreciate the invitation and it's uncomfortable for me to decline, but I am more committed to this.
To something else.
else. And I'm not suggesting that's not uncomfortable.
Yeah.
But I think be honest with it so that when you commit, you're going to be there. I think the reason, I was talking to somebody the other day, there's never been a need for me to work overtime unless I was screwing around. If I was focused and present and committed to the work that was right in front of me.
Not squandering your time,
Right. Now, part of squandering could be relationship building, so I could be committed to that. So I don't want to be overly rigid with that.
Right.
But that's how I do it and say, here's where I am. Now, before I came here, I actually told Maggie, my wife, that the topic we're going to talk about, she goes, well, you can share how you weren't committed to me for about 3 years. And she was right.
Pre-marriage, I hope.
Yeah, pre-marriage. and 30 years later, but it was the idea that, I was 0 for 1. And I wasn't looking to go 0 for 2.
Yeah.
And so I was very much non-committal. And was I surprised that no relationship was moving forward? And then when I decided I'm all in to see if we can go the distance, that's when things changed.
So there's something about our past experiences might be informing our current and future commitments.
Absolutely. Like I was all in and it didn't work out.
Yeah.
All right, well, what'd you learn?
Yeah.
Right? And so what will it take for you to be all in again?
Yeah.
I think being present is being all in. I don't give much unsolicited advice to my kids. And people who know me are probably surprised by that, but I really don't. But every now and then they'll ask. And one of the things that they asked, they said, Dad, so whatever we choose, what do you think? I said, be all in while you're in it. It may not be the thing you do forever.
Yeah.
But show up on time, prepared, and you will be ahead of most people. And when if it gets old or you want to try something else, then go for that. But don't be half in, half out, because that's half-assed.
Yeah.
And it will exhaust you.
Yeah.
As opposed to energize you. And again, I like to bring it back to, I think we have a lot of wasted time and energy in organizations and teams and relationships because we're not committed to the moment right in front of us. What can I do with what's right in front of me? That's what I'm most committed to.
Yeah.
But my calendar has a series of these things that I want to put right in front of me. And I've been referred to as rigid around my calendar. I don't like to move things around. It's not my first choice. I don't like to, even like I did today, at last minute say I may need to sneak out a little early. But that was related to a commitment I made to actually move a relationship along. And so be committed to what's right in front of you and take enough time to be clear that those are the things that are most important for you now, and that they provide you with some sense of purpose, some satisfaction, but some struggle.
My son's school has, I think this is a national trend happening. They have a everything but a backpack day.
Okay.
And so the kids can get super creative in how they carry
That's cool.
their books or materials, right? So some kids are bringing in they'll bring in a kayak, and because they have their books or their laptop in the kayak, they're literally going through the hallway with a whole. So they're bringing a lot of extra stuff. So what they recognize in that day is you can't be late to class. Like you won't. It's 4 minutes.
Yeah.
But some kids need 6 minutes to get to class if they're
Bringing all that stuff.
if they're hauling something bigger than a backpack, right? So bringing less stuff
allows you to make the transition to the
not just show up on time, but be there
to be
fully
there.
committed.
Yeah. See, I think I am a little bit of a stickler for on time, but I would rather you be a couple minutes late and fully there when you get
there. Than being on time and not showing up.
What I find though is that the bunching up causes people to be a foot in the last discussion, in a foot in this discussion, or they're trying to catch up.
What I'm hearing is highly committed to your calendar, to your events. Right, the calendar is just a tool.
That's just a tool,
right?
Just
so
a tool.
I don't want to say you're committed to your calendar. You're actually committed to each of the things the calendar is capturing and representing. Tell me why that might be viewed as rigid.
So before I do that, I want to tell you that's a great distinction. I own my commitments. I don't own my calendar.
I get your difference, but that is important.
You made that distinction.
Yeah, I hear you.
I appreciate that. I think I'm going to say it differently. Why do people think it's
so? Some you just said some people would say I'm rigid.
because you won't move it. I said I will move it. You know what I used to say, which probably reinforced the rigidity. I think there's two reasons to miss a commitment: your death or someone else's. Now, I've had people say, "Well, that's bull," because if your kid was at school and got hurt, so yes, there's room, but the things that I change my commitments for is a short list.
Right.
Is a very short list.
So that looks like a lack of flexibility.
Yeah. Now, you know how I think I think I can be very flexible because I have space between my commitments.
Yeah.
And I think there is a process that you can follow. I mean, I'll quote Stephen Covey, one of my favorite guys, right? He said, you want to get yourself flexibility and spontaneity, get yourself scheduled.
Right. Yeah.
Look at the whole canvas of your week, of your year, and plug those commitments that you really want to follow through on, but don't overcommit.
No, I love that. It's the same principle where creativity requires structure, innovation requires structure.
Yeah.
Your flexibility actually requires getting scheduled.
Some structure, and then you have the space to be flexible.
Yeah. Our clients, colleagues, and friends at Vanderkamp, Troy Evans, he suggests that clarity is going to be the new currency. And what I like about that is I think the more clear we are on things, the more committed we can be. So I think while we're asking people, especially leaders and organizations, to make sure they're holding those commitments, that's built on the foundation of the clarity of what's important, right? Really getting clear on what's important first. That's the bedrock of then I'm committed to this thing.
And recognize you can change it.
Yeah.
So I think that the reason people aren't clear is fear. The reason they're not clear is fear because they're afraid that, well, if I commit to this, what am I missing out on? What am I leaving out?
Sure.
And you can change it. As things change, your commitments will need to change.
Yeah.
And so I think here's, for me, the key takeaway is be all in on the stuff that you commit to because you will find it energizing. The that you find draining is because you're not all in. You got like half a foot in. And you're kind of watching from the sidelines, and you're not getting the energy from the other people because you're kind of still protecting you think you're protecting energy, you're actually losing energy in that process. We got a book on the table, which we probably should take off the table.
That's a good, yeah.
And, this is a book we've used. Who Will Do What by When? I'd highly recommend it. The one suggestion we think they should have added and why. But I think this is a great book, a simple book, if you're really looking to strengthen your own commitments. And first, start with your commitments to yourself. I think it's I actually think it's personal responsibility. You owe it to yourself to be all in on the stuff that you've chosen to put in as your commitments for the week. You owe it to yourself first.
I love that.
Then you owe it to the people that you're in it with.
Yeah.
And sometimes all in, for me, I have to recognize I got to dial it down a little bit. I can be all in and I can still modulate it a little bit, right? So that other people can be all in.
Sure.
Right. That's.
And don't be all in and take all the space.
Yeah.
Right.
Be all in as a
and
contributing member.
Yeah.
But so others can also play.
Yeah. Love it. Love it. Ralph, thank you.
Thanks, Bill.
Yeah. It's fun.